going at Xbox head as per normal. Anybody care, or can I move on?
You can move on.
I'll talk about Cold War a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
So recently, I've been playing Cold War as a break from some of the competitive things that I've been doing. I play Valorant, I play Apex, and sometimes those things can be a little frustrating. Stepping into Cold War has been really interesting. Now, the game ultimately went back to a style of play that I would call classically Call of Duty, right? The maps are designed around spawn traps. There's it's very recycled material. Now, I have been noticing that is a lot of fun because it's almost like I'm going to open my head, take out my brain, and put it on the desk, and then just
let me be
run
Rambo
around
for 30 minutes.
Yeah, and that's fine. I mean, there's no hip fire penalty. There's no penalties for uncontrollable recoil. I mean, you don't even have to compensate. But at the same time, I'd say Cold War has a substantial amount of problems for a game that they charge people just a shitload of money to actually access. Now, Xbox Live being down, I don't think surprises anybody. Because I feel like most of the console live softwares are kind of shit. But Cold War's new update, I haven't actually gotten to check it out yet. I've downloaded it. Hopefully, and maybe you guys can answer this. Hopefully, it has a substantial amount of content because I think the one thing that game is missing is life. Frankly, I think it's missing
that and anti-cheat software. We was talking about last week how they banned 60,000
from Warzone.
Yeah.
From Warzone, not Cold
War. Oh, true. Okay.
Yeah.
Warzone itself still has a cheating problem that I don't think is going to go away anytime soon.
Nah.
No. Not at all.
I don't think they're in the business of. I think, like politics, it's all optics. So I think in order for them to be able to have the type of game that they want, which is a sustained playable multiplayer that's free to play, which isn't really free to play, that people will occasionally enjoy playing competitively, but ultimately will keep like a really huge base of players. The one thing that they're going to need to do is make it look like they're trying. The last time they attempted to show that they were actively going to stand against cheating, what they did was they put out a tweet, literally only a tweet, and it was a picture basically going, "Stop." And that was it. They're like, we don't condone this, blah blah blah. This is a problem. We're looking into it. Blah 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 blah.
Stop bullying us, guys. Pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, oh, we don't condone cheating in anything, but they do. And frankly, they seem to be running their optics through the same type of lens that most companies operate with, and that is like, aside from some very particular things, any publicity is good publicity. They are constantly in a seat of privilege when it comes to them being talked about. Call of Duty wasn't a relevant relevant conversation or a relevant topic for gamers for like the last 10 years, which is why they needed to do something big with Modern Warfare. So I think this is great for them. Why the fuck would they change anything, frankly? And once they do eventually start stomping out hordes of cheaters like the 60,000 they banned before, we're going to go, oh God, look at that. Look at how good they're doing for us. It's literally an abusive relationship.
Yeah. Here's the problem with that. Is the banning cheaters is not good enough, and I've said this multiple times on the podcast. They need to do more than that, because the reality of it is banning the cheaters just makes 60,000 new accounts. You need to start banning IPs permanently, or something of that sort, in order to really make a difference, or make an anti-cheat software so that.
Do you think so?
Yeah, absolutely.
What about okay? Can I ask a question?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm sorry to interrupt you.
You're.
So yes, So the multiple accounts is a problem. I mean, it's a big reason that games can't stop smurfing, if you guys are familiar with the term.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a whole separate talking point. What I want to ask, though, is do you punish the individual being able to access the cheating or the cheats themselves, the scripts, or do you go after the cheat makers?
Both.
That's a big task that to handle is just getting
What we
people.
talking about?
But here's the thing:
Call of Duty.
It's like you're trying to,
What's up, Chrono?
That's one of those mentalities of like trying to chop the head off the giant or whatever, and it's really hard to do in this scenario when they don't have an anti-cheat, because if they had an anti-cheat, then it would be a simple solution, like, then there wouldn't, be cheaters, like, but the issue is they don't have something like that. So directly just attacking the people who use the cheat and going for like a IP ban or something like that, honestly, is the only foreseeable outcome for me, because as of right now, I mean, so many people have been calling for an anti-cheat, and they're just kind of like, well, screw it, like. And if they start like permanently banning IPs, then maybe it'll get it in these, people's mind, kids, whatever. I think a lot of, people honestly who use cheats are younger kids, or just honestly people that don't have a life. Like, I have a very skewed, not so respectful perspective on cheaters. But like, I mean, you know what you're doing, like, and you know what the consequences should be, and like when that hammer gets dropped, like, like, sorry, like, it's like an integrity thing, if, like, are you gonna do the same shit you would do in front of your boss when your boss walks away? Like, it's those kind of things.
Can I respond to that?
Yeah, of course.
I didn't know if I was allowed, if we were switching topics.
I was getting ready. You can respond, and then we're going to switch.
Yeah, no worries. So I think I don't know how aware you are of cheating in competitive shooters or competitive tactical shooters, of which COD, I suppose, would exist in that realm. But in everything else that does have an anti-cheat, or at least some semblance of one, the player base is punished, but there are isolated incidents where the companies basically set an example with somebody. They don't punish an entire community of people because they know it's a flaw with how they're operating the way they treat cheaters. So games that have handled it really, really well. Fortnite is one of them. Good luck finding script cheating in competitive Fortnite. Their cheating problem is different. However,
it's non-existent.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of collusion, but that's, again, different conversation. But the last thing that I want to finish with is, do you know personally how easy it is to actually access a Call of Duty cheating mechanism?
I assume it's very easy. I mean, like, it's not something I've looked into.
For literally less than $5, in some cases free, you can look up scripts. If you download a free one, say goodnight to your fucking computer. But yeah, seriously, it's over. Like, it's like gambling your entire life away. But for literally less than $5, you can have pretty much any injection you'd like, and it's so accessible that there's nothing that you actually have to do that is difficult to activate said cheat. So since it's so readily available and it's so easily accessible, arguably more accessible than the game is in itself, why would you blame the people that are accessing it and not the creators? Or why wouldn't you blame the company itself or the creators of the cheats that are capable of producing the problem?
So what you're getting at is, like, what if they do like a Nintendo thing and just do like a DMCA takedown of all the cheats?
Sure. Yeah, legally go after it. And they've been like, if they did that, if they went legally, if they went after the cheat makers, people would stop cheating. That's literally what would happen. Epic Games went after a 14-year-old kid for producing a hack, and I mean the kid's life is ruined. They set an example really early on with an isolated incident. I'm not saying that people's lives should be ruined, but at the same time, if this is such a big issue that's affecting communities, tournaments, prize pools, it's affecting people's livelihoods in some way, which it is if you're a content creator. If it's creating a widespread like corporate issue, which it is, the optics are not going to be manageable forever. Why would you allow for this to continue on that front? If you start punishing players, they're still playing, whether they're cheating or not. They're all still dealing with this in some way. The only problem is a lot of people feel like if you can't beat them, join them. So if you start punishing mass groups of people, if you start banning full IPs, they're just gonna go do it somewhere else.
That's we got way deeper than that than I expected to.